Here is something most people get wrong about DevOps. They think it's just about tools, automation, or CI/CD pipelines. But DevOps is way more than a tech practice, it's a business strategy. When done right, it helps organizations reduce cost, release faster, recover from failure quickly, and create a real competitive advantage. Sadly, many companies are stuck on thinking that DevOps is just about tool, and they completely miss the transformational business value that DevOps can unlock for them. In this video, I will show you what DevOps actually mean for real business leaders and not just for engineers. So if you have ever wondered how DevOps can impact growth, innovation, and performance, this is the video you need to watch till the end. And please, before we go further, hit the like and the subscribe button if you have not yet do that, so that many people can discover the power of DevOps and also get right into it. So we will be looking at the business value of DevOps. Now, before looking at the business value of DevOps, it is first of all important for us to have just a small briefing about what DevOps actually is. So, DevOps is a set of practices, cultural philosophies, and tools that unify software development and IT operation. So before DevOps, the software delivery technical team was made up of the development and the operation team. The development teams are responsible for writing the application code, developing new features in order for them to be able to solve users' problem and users' need. Now, the IT operation teams, they are the ones that are responsible for taking the application that developers have written and actually deploying this application so that it can be accessible to real users. Now, before DevOps, these two were working in isolation. So the development teams are working in silo and the operation teams are also working separately. It is only when they have developed the software that they will transmit it to the operation team for them to be able to take this software and deploy them. Now, the problem with this model of operation was that there was a lot of misunderstanding, and as a result of this, developers will write application code and it will work on their machine, but when they ship this application to the production team, the application is not going to work. And that is how it was lead to late launches of product and also a lot of errors in the application that were being deployed. So DevOps came in order to be able to bridge this gap between the development and the operation team in order for them to be able to work together with the same goal to be able to deploy faster, reliable, and quality software which will meet users' need and also solve business problem. So we are talking today about the business value of DevOps. As we said, DevOps is not just about tooling, it also has a business implication. So the business value of DevOps refers to the measurable impacts that DevOps practices have on an organization performance, agility, and also the bottom line. Every organization's desire is to be able to solve users and customers' need in the best way possible within the shortest time possible in order for them to be able to get their customers satisfied and also get their business operating adequately, generating revenue. But now, before DevOps, this was actually very difficult to attain because as the development teams and the operation teams were working in isolation, attaining business goal was difficult. Like software delivery wasn't fast, and as a result of this, it was taking teams and company a lot of time to be able to solve users' need and users' problem. And DevOps has come to be able to solve all this. You can actually know more about what is DevOps and what it has done in the tech ecosystem and also in business by looking at a video that I have done about what is DevOps. I have actually taken time to be able to explain business needs in more detail and in more depth. So I will put the link to that video in the description. You can check it and watch it if you find it valuable. So now let us look at the first value that DevOps bring to businesses. The first value that DevOps bring to businesses is accelerated time to market. So as a result of DevOps practices like continuous integration and continuous deployment and also automated testing and validation, we now have shorter development lifecycle, right? Before, software delivery was more of manual. And as a result of this was taking a lot of time, and it was also error prone. And because of DevOps, this has been automated. We now have continuous integration and continuous delivery pipeline, which have automated the building, the testing, and also the deployment of application. And as a result of this, we now have faster product launches as compared to what we had before, right? And we also have quick response to customer need. So whenever products are being delivered faster, it will be able to respond quickly to customers' need and bringing the business to be able to compete in a fast-paced market. Just imagine that you are a business and your customers have some need, and they want you to be able to solve this need, but you really want to solve the need, but as a result of tech practices, as a result of you have to do everything manually, that actually wastes you time and you are unable to do what you have to do to be able to meet your customers' need. But with DevOps, you will have pipelines that is automating everything from testing of application, development of application, validation of application, and all this permit you to be able to launch your product faster and respond quick to your customers' need. Now, the second value that DevOps brings to business is improved stability and reliability due to practices like infrastructure as code. Before DevOps, for people or organizations to be able to deploy infrastructures that they needed to be able to run their application, they had to do all these things manually, right? They had to do everything manually, step by step. And manual means error because humans are not perfect. Humans are prone to mistake. And as a result of these vulnerability in human nature, you are going to see that you are going to work, for example, if you have 5 servers that you have to configure in order to run your application on this, you will perform a particular configuration or parameterization on server 1. When you go to server 2, you forget what you did in server 1, and as a result of that, there is going to be inconsistency in the various infrastructure that you are going to deploy your application, leading to outages and failure. But as a result of DevOps, we now have infrastructure as a code, and as a result of this, what is going to happen is that your infrastructure is now consistent because you have written everything in form of code. You will now just take the code you have used in server 1, you deploy the same code in server 2, and everything is going to be consistent, and you now have fewer outages and failure. DevOps practices like proactive monitoring and alerting and also automated rollback has also led to fewer outages, increased system uptimes, and enhanced customer satisfaction. Before DevOps, like monitoring was actually difficult, and even alerting was also difficult. At times you will deploy a particular application and that application failed, and the time that is going to take for you to be able to go back to the previous version of the application was actually long because that ought to be done manually. But with DevOps, we now have automated rollback on failure and even zero downtime deployment. And as a result of this, we have increased system uptime and enhanced customer satisfaction, right? The third value that DevOps bring to businesses is reduce operational cost. Before, things were being done manually. DevOps practices has led to automation, and this automation has reduced the work that developers were doing and has given them more time for them to be able to work on serious and important work. Just imagine that for you to be able to configure servers, you have 5 servers that you have to configure. You write configuration code for server 1, server 2, and server 3. And what is going to happen is that you will deploy your application in this server. Everything is being done manually and repetitively. So if you have to do this for 500 servers, you will do it one at the same time, or you will do every single thing for all these 5 servers. And this was actually something that was strenuous, boring, and like developers were working and operation teams were working, and they were not actually satisfied because they were doing routine work all the time. But as a result of DevOps, you can now automate manual repetitive tasks, leading to lower total cost of ownership and efficient use of engineering resources, because engineers also do manual work each and every time. They were not having enough time for them to be able to work on what was important and what was actually valuable. But as a result of DevOps, we now have engineers automating everything that is automatable, and then actually concentrating their effort and their time on what is actually of value to the business. So the total cost of operation for the business in terms of engineering work, in terms of infrastructure, has reduced, because we now have cloud native architecture where we deploy application in the cloud, and also we have cloud native application like Kubernetes that has made the scaling of application automatic and easy. As a result of this, you reduce your cost on architecture. Instead of buying physical servers, you now run your application in the cloud and using only what is important and only scaling when it is important. Now, eliminating technical debt, which will also lead to higher return on investment from your infrastructure, because you will benefit from every infrastructure that you have deployed. You are no more spending uselessly and not getting any value. The next value that DevOps bring to business is higher deployment frequency with a lower risk, right? As a result of continuous delivery of value and in small increments, what is actually happening is that we no longer have big bang releases. Before DevOps, what companies or organizations were doing was that if they have a particular application to develop, they were using the monolithic architecture of application development, right? That means if you want to develop an application that contains 5 or 6 services, you are going to develop all the services at once, and it is only when you finish developing all the services, you will couple them as one, and then you will deploy them. This was taking a lot of time, and you will only have maybe only single release for 5 or 6 features. But with DevOps, we have small releases which are incremented with time and iterated. And as a result of this, we have fewer big bang releases, which usually lead to big errors and also late feedback from customers and also unsatisfaction. We also have reduced development or deployment anxiety, because whenever you develop all these features, you put and couple everything into one. At time when you want to deploy this, you will actually be feeling anxious that it might not work or it might fail for whatsoever reason. But now, as a result of DevOps, we now have smaller, safer incremental deployment with real-time feedback from users and system. You don't take a lot of time for you to be able to get feedback. You get feedback with real time, because everything is being done in small increment, and at every step you get feedback and you progress, right? Now, the next one is alignment between IT and business teams. So DevOps practices like shared goals between development, operation, quality assurance, and stakeholders has made collaboration between the various teams very important. Before, the developer were only concentrated on their work developing application, the ops were just concentrating on their work deploying application, the quality assurance were there just to check the quality of the application that have been developed, and then the stakeholders were just there to verify and see if everything is working as expected. But DevOps has now led to shared goals between all these teams. Everyone have the same vision of what has to be done, and when all this is being done, we now have a collaboration and faster delivery and meeting of business objective, permitting them to be able to innovate at scale, right? This is very important. The teams are communicating, and the more they communicate, the more they work together, the more they deliver, and the more they deliver, the more they meet their objectives. Now, the other one is about data-driven decision making. So, DevOps encouraging observability and real-time metrics. And as a result of this, we make informed leadership decisions based on data that is proven and not based on feelings, not based on thoughts, or not based on whatsoever unproven facts, right? Everything is proven. So if you want to make a particular decision on your business, you already have data that is permitting you to be able to make that decision. And also we have the adoption of the 4 DORA metrics, which are deployment frequency, mean time for changes, and I have made a whole video on this. You can check the link to that particular video in the description link for you to be able to know what these are, and also how you can practice that in your own organization. So DevOps practices like observability and real-time metrics have led to informed leadership decision, clear return on investment on DevOps investment. So when you are practicing DevOps, you are measuring, you are seeing whether that DevOps practices is either leading to business growth or it is not leading to business growth. Is it leading to customer satisfaction? Are you meeting your business goals and objectives or not? You have clear data that can permit you to be able to make clear decisions. And it has also led to operational transparency. Everybody from developer right up to the stakeholders, they have the data before them that can permit each and everyone to be able to see what is working and what is not working. And now DevOps has also led to talent magnet. It attracts and retains the best talent because of DevOps practices which promote autonomy, learning, and ownership, because people always like when they are in control. When someone is in control, they do their best. But when someone feels he is being controlled or manipulated by someone, they will walk, they will not actually do their best. They will not actually create an environment that is perfect for them to be able to do what they have to do. And that is how customers or users will be suffering from the unhappiness of employees. But DevOps promote autonomy. It gives developers an operation team or engineers the power that they have for them to be able to test, to learn, to fail, and also on whatsoever thing they are doing, giving or boosting their morals for them to be able to work excellently and perfectly. So developers can now work on impactful and streamlined processes, permitting them to be able to deliver business value, and all things will now move from firefighting to innovation. Instead of you doing something and waiting for the things to fail and then you start fighting on how you can be able to solve that, you have time, the autonomy to be able to work on what is relevant, what you feel is right, and then you break all those things that can cause to failure, and then you have time to innovate, right? So this has led to increased job satisfaction, lower employee turnover, and a stronger culture of innovation. So DevOps has a lot of advantages that it has brought to business. And these which are, as we have seen, we have faster deployment, and we also have talents, right? Organization can actually boast of their employees, and employees are also happy to work, and the environment is good, everybody being satisfied. So these are the values that DevOps can bring to your business. If you found this video valuable, please do a like and subscribe so that you will be able to get more videos from me, and I am in the comment section waiting for your comment. Thank you very much, and see you in the next video.